What's good? Is your boy Turk, and I'm here to tell you guys about my real world almost making experience. And even if I didn't make it, at least I was entertained and, addictees. Every next level of life will demand a different you. So let me tell you about my real world love and how that came about before I get started here. So it started off, I was 11 years old, and I think I watched this on accident. I liked MTV. I watched a lot of music videos when I was younger, so I turned on MTV one day and I seen The Real World. My first experience was The Real World Chicago. That's the one with Anissa. I remember that one vividly because her birthday was on 9/11. I know you guys, I know The Real World couldn't really watch TV, but that specific time they let them watch TV. Because 9/11 was happening. And it was Anissa's birthday. She was crying. And she didn't get to really enjoy her birthday. And that really stuck with me even at like 11 years old. Like I was very touched by that moment, is because my father 3 years prior in 98 had just become a firefighter. So that really stuck with me, and it really touched me how they felt, and I was like, wow, like it's called The Real World, and these people are really emotional, like this is really happening. And it was just a moment, like, at least for me, I would never forget. And from then I've watched every season. I enjoyed every season, and that introduced me to Road Rules and then the challenges. So I was always like, man, this is so good, like I want to be on the challenge. I want to be on Real World. And most of it is because, I think I could be very influential, and I felt like The Real World would have gave me the platform to finally have a voice that's unheard right now. I feel like that camera pointing at you is a microphone, and you got to choose what you want to do with it. And having that MTV microphone, have you seen what it done for people? Like Karamo is like a host. The Miz is a wrestler. Like they didn't take their blessings short. There's a lot more people I can name who turn this into something successful. And even if it's just the people who do the challenges who win a lot of money, I'm the best competitor there is. Like, I'm built. I play semi-pro football. Like, man, I feel like the man still. I still feel like I could win these challenges, So I said I would try to be on The Real World when I got older. So I tried since I was 18. At the time, the limit was 18. I believe now it's 21 because they want you to go out and drink and party. I'm assuming this. But as soon as I turned 18, I started trying. I was never really entertained. I went to the meetings they would host at bars. They would interview about 10 to 8 people at a time. And you just have to have personality. If it sticks out, it sticks out. You get asked to stay. If they tell you we're going to hit you up in 48 hours, you didn't make it. You have to be pulled aside. So there'll be 10 people sitting at a table. They'll dismiss you. Like, okay, I'm done. I heard what I have to say. Like, I heard what I had to hear, And then they start calling names for you to leave the table. Like, oh, if I say your name, just give me one adjective about you and you could leave, and you'll hear us in about 48 hours. So like I'll say I'm Turk and I'm funny. All right, bye. And then the last 2 people, they'd be like, stay here. You're on to the next round. Go to another room. We're gonna meet you there. Okay. So I didn't make it in person. So this is at 18. I try every year until I'm about 23, 24. So when I'm finally between 23 and 24, I go to the one in person. They didn't care about me. I go send an email, because you got to send an email, you know, tell them a brief description about yourself and send about 4 pictures. I try to be very, very diverse with my 4 pictures, right? So the first picture, I send of my face. Every real worlder is somewhat attractive. I mean, for the most part. So I think I'm a little attractive, so I send a picture of my face first. Boom. That's there. Picture number 2, I send another picture of me suited. I'm like at work. I'm feeling myself. I got the fresh cut, you know. Fully suited, blazer, looking good. Send them that. Now you got my face and you got me suited. Come on. So, third picture is me playing football. That's what I love to do. That's my hobby. And it shows that I'm doing something. I'm like showing off the guns. I'm like, yeah, that's me. You know, I'm feeling myself. I'm flexing. And then the 4th picture is me in basketball shorts. That's it. No shirt. I'm kind of flexing. I've been working on my chest a little bit, so I'm showing off. I'm just like, yeah, they're going to love this. Maybe a month later, I hear back. They're like, tell us more and send us some more pictures, you know. So again, I'm diverse with the pictures, even more updated ones, but the same subjects for the most part. And I tell them more about myself. And I'm selling myself. I'm telling you, like, I'm gassing myself up. And at this point, I'm a brand. They're interested in me, so I'm going to sell it to you as best as I can. So I was bigging myself up, you know. And it wasn't like it was lies. It was the truth, but I was very cocky and conceited with it. And sometimes, you know, I could get like that, but it is what it is. So I sent them what I sent them or whatnot. Maybe about 2 to 3 weeks later, I get hit up again. They're like, this time include your Skype. For those who don't know what Skype is, that's video chat. It was popular video chat, I believe, at the time. So I give them more information. And at first I'm like, damn, you guys are asking for a lot of information. This is like the 3rd time I'm doing this. I'm running out of information to tell you about myself. So I give them a bunch of information. My fingers is just going. And then they ask about my last girlfriend and my last relationship and how that ended. It just so happens at the time it didn't end well. That's a story for another time. But it didn't end well. And I told them that. I gave them every single detail. And then I told them about the girl I'm currently seeing. So they ask all that. I'm typing away. I'm telling them everything. I give them my Skype, you know. And to me, it's really juicy. I send them a picture of me and the ex-girls. I had to give them their full names, their phone numbers, and their emails. So I'm giving up all this information, you know. So I'm like, damn, this is like weird. Like, why do they? Anyway, I sent them everything. I'm spilling my guts. I'm telling them things I wouldn't even tell, like, my friends to this day. Things I take to the grave with me, you know. And I told them everything. So after I sent that, I reread what I wrote. And man, so many typos, so many messed up punctuation. I'm like, oh, no. So they said if I'm chosen, I would be called in about 2 weeks. 2 weeks to be exact. It would have been July 14th, I believe. So July 14th came around and I never heard back, and I'm assuming that's because I wrote a story that was very hard to read. They said make it as long as you want because You're being selected. We're going to read the whole thing. And I wrote a lot. I just didn't write it correctly. So I didn't hear from them. A few months later, I see The Real World is premiering. It was The Real World Explosion with Corey. Real World Explosion was when the roommates move into the house and then the exes move in about a month later. So my ex that I ended this relationship so bad with would have came and lived in the house after a month of me being there, thinking it's your average season of Real World. I was a little bitter, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't even want to watch the season. I'm like, man, fuck this season. Like, I'm not watching it. I was bitter, but sure enough, I watched it and I enjoyed it. And then I watched the challenge afterwards, and the whole time I'm like, that could have been me. That should be me. Like, I was just so upset and bitter, but I mean, it is what it is. I still watch to this day all the challenges. I know The Real World stopped, but I'll be watching this current season because if you don't know, a week from now, Real World Atlanta is going to be premiering on Facebook video. So that's going to be pretty good. And that's the reason why I'm talking about this, because there is an upcoming season, and I'm still wishing I could have got there, man. I feel like I could have been a voice to people, and if not, I could have won a lot of money on the challenge. I still think I could beat half these people in the challenge, if not all. But that's just the competitor in me. When I commit to something, I don't like to lose. I don't care if it's pickup basketball or a video game. Like, I just don't like to lose. So I'm Turk. That's my experience with almost making a Real World, I think. And yeah, man, please like and subscribe. I hope that you found this entertaining and informative. I'm Turk and I'm out. Thank you.
Dad, what's wrong?
My life's a TV show. Here's another episode. Sticking to the script, swear I'm always skeptical. Starring me.